you can watch lessons in case you're gone and whatnot. They sound okay, and I got a new microphone today, so that'll sound way better.
Oh, you got a snowball mic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're professionals here.
Very quickly hand you this.
Yes, thank you. I'll just put that right in there.
I've been worse off over the weekend.
What happened?
So sitting here trying to make one for May Day. My brother's full of water all over it. And I'm racing.
Well, guess what?
Trying to drop it.
Guess what? I'll put mine on the wrong book.
And somehow I'm making it fly out of it. There's full of water all over it. Trying to dry it. It's terrible.
That's nice.
So I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, football tonight?
Dude,
Where?
dude.
That's the guy who's excited for you. Out on the field too. That's gonna be fun for you guys. The practice. You practice.
I'm sure I'm getting ready for football. I'm pretty positive I'm gonna be ready.
Isn't it crazy how we're
Or
already
in the
freshmen?
practice field, I'm actually in football.
Practice field. Isn't it crazy that we're already freshmen? Crazy. I can't believe you guys so long.
Hello, welcome. Welcome back. Okay. So again, we got the GoPro going today. Got microphone going. Finally got something that'll sound a little bit better than what we normally use. I had a problem with it this morning, so I'll apologize if for some reason we don't have audio on this video today. I'm still working out the kinks. For some reason, GarageBand likes to just exit out of the program and just click save after like 10 minutes. It just stops. She's like, man, that's enough audio for you today. I don't know why. I need 40 minutes of it. So I'll apologize if it doesn't work. Okay. All right. So let's minimize this. New signature today. Let me pop it up on the board here. Oh. Okay. I think I know why now. Oh, this makes sense. Yeah, all right, good. Sorry, I just, awe-inspiring moment because it just quit out of it again. Fired up the projector and it turned off. It's because of the Apple TV I'm using. It switches inputs. So, work in progress. We figured it out. Okay, this is good. All right, here's a new scene chart. Nothing personal. This will be the next 2 weeks. Okay, here you go. All right, I'll make it bigger. It's the projector that's stopping it. And it did it again right when it quit. That's just silly. Okay. All right, well, welcome back. Let's talk about our topic today. We are going to be reading, writing numbers today. That's what we're doing, reading and writing numbers. So, what we talked about last week, and I believe it was Friday, I had my little phone, and we were taking pictures of your work, and we were showing on the board and showing, mistakes and little things we did. And I love the volunteers because we're learning. This is the process where we learn how to write numbers correctly. You guys are actually extremely good at it, so that was a good thing. So. All right, today, we're going to continue that today, but we're also going to learn how to round today. Round to certain place value, okay? So that's our topic. So we're on section 2, so 1.2, reading, writing, and rounding numbers. Rounding whole numbers. Okay, that's what we're doing today. Okay, so here's the thing. Reading, writing, and rounding whole numbers. There's a main topic here that we need to first worry about. Can we write numbers correctly? What I mean by writing numbers, not in digit form, you know, in numerical form. We're getting out of numerical form, and what I want to get into, numerical is writing an actual number out with digits. I want to go from numerical form, and I want to write it into verbal form, words. That's what I need to know. Because we're going to talk about a check. One of our topics we're going to talk about before lunch. I know we did not get to that on Friday. I think we were planning on it right when the bell went off. I was about to pop up a check and we were about to talk about it. Okay? That's what we're doing here today. Okay, so verbal form. So then our second topic with that, other than numerical to verbal, we're going to talk about how a checkbook works. Now, if you have the luxury of ever having a checkbook, I don't know if your generation will, just because everything's moving electronically now. Like, for instance, I know, like, I hardly ever write checks anymore. It's only for when I need to. Like, this school doesn't accept credit cards. It doesn't accept Apple Pay, so I have to write a check for lunch money and stuff. So it is a skill that I need to know. We'll explain the subtleties of it. All right, so that's kind of our goal. This is what I want to get to before lunch, these two main topics. After lunch, we're going to look at rounding numbers. That's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at rounding numbers. And by rounding, what we're dealing with is place value rounding. That's going to be our topic today. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns about what we're going to talk about today? Yeah, easy enough.
What was that?
Email, sorry. Just making sure the audio's still working. Okay, I think we're good. All right. All right, let's get started. Let's take a look at this. Let's start with just doing numerical to a verbal. We'll practice one or two, and then we'll look at a checkbook idea, like what we'd use this for. All right, so numerical form. We got number 6 today. 5? We got 5. Yeah, we'll do a 5-digit number. This will work. Give me one number, one digit.
5.
5. Okay, give me another one.
6.
6. Another number, please. Any number. 8. Number, please. 2. And a number, please. 1. Okay. Have a comma because every 3 numbers I need a comma. So where's the decimal line again? Back. It's always in the back. It's in the back unless they mark it otherwise. Okay, so we have the comma here. All right, so this is our digit for today, and we'll try another one of these here in a minute. We might go a 6-digit number or 7-digit. We might make up a couple numbers. Okay. So here's the idea. This is numerical form. It's digits written out, commas and decimal points. I want to go to verbal form. Verbal expression. Verbal form is known in words. So how we did this is it's basically every 3 digits, or the commas basically separate them. That's how I always remember. You say the number, you say what spot it's sitting in, you say the next number, you say what spot it's sitting in, and so on and so forth, until you get to the decimal point. When you're in this category of 3 numbers, you won't have to say any category it's fitting in. Right? It's in the ones position. We don't have to say that. Okay, so let's start here, and I'll try to color code as we go. So let's start with this number. So that's the number in front of the comma. Just say that number.
56.
56. Okay, that's it. That's all you say. You say 56. Then we'll say what place value it sits in. Okay, what spot's in front of the first comma? What spot's in front, like in front of the comma? What position is this?
1,000.
Thousands, right? These are the thousands position. Does that make sense? These are the thousands. If there's another comma in front of that, we have millions, and then if there's another comma, we have billions, and so on and so forth. Okay, but these are the thousands.
I thought it was trillions.
It goes billions,
Oh,
then
yeah,
trillions,
yeah.
by, then try. Yeah. So, actually, What is the next ones after that?
Oh,
Quadrillions?
yeah.
Yeah, geez. Okay, so I don't think I've ever had a right number past that because I never had to deal with that. But all right, so like you said, we said 56, right? Now when we write 56, what do we need? It is a 2-digit number. So what do you put between it? Between the 50 and the 6? No.
Put period or
Oh, you guys know it too. You know what you're trying to get to. Starts with an H. No. It's a little symbol I put right here. What is that?
Hyphen.
Yeah, hyphen. Yeah, a hyphen. Anytime you write a 2-digit number like 56, you have to use a hyphen. The only time you wouldn't is when you're in like 13, 14. That's a single word. You don't. It's not a 2-digit word or a 2-syllable kind of thing. So, so the idea is 56. You have to put a hyphen. So now we say 56. Then what spot was this sitting in? 1,000. That's 56,000. You always put what value is at after that. That spot really is representing like the comma. That's really what it's representing. So 56,000, that's where the comma goes. Now we move on and we go to the second group of numbers, these. And now you just say that number out loud. Now that's a 3-digit number, but it's fine. You just say that number and that's where we end at. There's no place value for the ones that are in front of the ones, or in front of the decimal. Because in front of the decimal, these are just the ones category. We wouldn't have to say that category. So can somebody just say this number out loud for me?
821.
821. That's how you say it. Notice we didn't say the word and, nothing, just 821. Now with 21, what do you think we're going to need? Hyphen. Yeah, 820-1. And notice, I don't need to put a decimal. I didn't need to write the word and. I don't need to put anything. If you want to put a comma, I know that sometimes some people really enjoy that. They like to put the comma after 1,000. That is correct English. You can do that. It's correct. I don't. It's just a personal preference with me. I don't put the comma in there, but it's not wrong. Now, just remember, it's every 3 numbers. So it's anytime you have a comma, you just say the number, you say what spot it's in. You say the number, say what spot it's in. Say the number, say what spot it's in. That's how it always works. But again, if you choose to put the comma, I don't fault you. Question? Okay.
I was like, then I asked if should we put a hyphen between the thousands and, but never. You already put that.
Yep. Okay. All right. Any questions with that number? Okay, let's try a 7-digit number now, not a 6. Let's go 7. So I'll create the first number. I'll go around the room again. I'll go backwards. We'll create numbers, and then I'll create the last number so we have a 7-digit, because there's only 5 of us in here, so I'll make 2 of the numbers. All right, so we're going to start with the number 9. Okay, number please. 1. Okay. Next number please. 4. Okay, we're going around the room, please. 9. Okay. Number please. 2. 7. And I'm going to go 5. Okay. There. 7 digits. Okay. Commas. Where do the commas go right now?
behind the 9.
Behind the 9.
The last 9.
This 9 and that 9. Actually, behind both, so it's kind of funny. All right. So there's your commas. Every 3 digits from the back. The decimals in the very back, so just we know that. All right. So again, we're going to go through the exact same process. We're going to write this. This is a numerical form. We're going to go to verbals, so to words. We're going to write it all the way out to hopefully spell it correctly as we go. The big thing is actual values, like what spot are these numbers sitting in. So we actually have 3 different categories. We have the category up front, in front of the comma. We have the category in the middle, and we have the category in the back. And I'll color code these as we go. Now remember, anytime you get to the comma, that's when you say what spot those numbers were sitting in. That's when you say it. Okay, so we'll start in the beginning. So this number, because I created that one. Exactly. You say the number, it's 9. And now since we hit the comma, what spot is it in? It's in the millions column. So how I pronounce that, it's just 9 million, just like you said. Perfect. And if you want, you can choose a comma. You don't have to. It's not a big deal. All right. We comfortable with that? I know some of you are like scrambling to keep going. That's great. I love it. So let's go to the next number now. So you say this number, the 3 digits. Just say that number out loud.
149.
Exactly. 149. It needs a hyphen. Remember that. So We're gonna say that, so 149. Okay, 149. Notice the hyphens between the two-digit number, the 40 and the 9. I've actually seen 40 written with a U as well. That's more of a proper English spelling. I don't do that, but you can if you wish. More English than anything. So 40. So 49. Now, what spot was that number sitting in? Thousand spot, right? That's the thousands location. Okay, and now we just say the number in the very, very back. Oh, and we can put a comma there if you want. After the thousand. Okay, number in the back?
275.
275, and I need a hyphen again, so this is 270, and 70 is with a T, not a D, 70 and 5, and I need the hyphen. Oh, I'm running out of space. Notice, anytime you get to the comma, that's when you say the place value word, thousands, millions. You don't say it before that. Previous years, I always have this one student that's in the middle here, this middle group. They always want to say like 100,049. That's not how you say it. You say the three digits together, 149. Then you say what spot it's in, the thousand spot. It's just a little pet peeve of mine. It's just a weird quirk that they had. They always wanted to say the spot before it got to the comma. Okay, we comfortable so far? Got those down? Okay. Most of you do fine because you're already rattling off. Remember, if you're not sure, just say it out loud in your head. Because whatever you're saying in your head, that's probably correct. And just write it down. That's what most people always forget. That you'll say it by instinct when you first look at the number, you'll say it correctly. Okay, now, let's talk about the checkbook situation. Okay, because I did hint at the fact that you'll need this for checks. You do need to write out, and when you write out, paragraph form, when you're writing a story problem out, you do need to write this in verbal form. So that there is a purpose for writing words out, or numerals into words. Questions? Okay. So let me draw a mock picture of a check. I'm not going to use my projector for this. This should be easy. All right. So, okay, this is the top of the check. This is where you tear it off, and you remember when you're tearing off a checkbook out of your checkbook, just be careful. Nothing's worse than writing a check. Because some people like write their checks before they tear them out, and then they tear it out and they rip it in half. Banks won't accept that anymore. It's been torn. So you just be careful when they're tearing out. Okay, so just go a little bit at a time. All right, now in the upper corner of a check, guess what's up here?
Date.
Oh, yeah, that's on the other side. This needs to be your permanent address. It needs to match your driver's license. If it doesn't, an actual business can refuse to take the check. It has to be a permanent address. If you're working at a job, let's say you get a high school job at some point, and you get somebody that writes you a check and it's not local, you need to talk to your manager to make sure that they accept checks that are not local. And the other thing is, if there's just blank lines up here, just blank lines, and the person's writing in their address up there, you are not supposed to accept that check. That is not a real check. That is a fake check. You should not accept that. That's just a little thing you need to realize. That is a huge red flag. That is not a real check. Checks have to have a permanent address printed up here. So, I'll do mine. So, Mr. Ward, this is 605 West Lion Street. This is the school here.
Yep.
West Lion Street, Garner, Iowa. A 50438. All right. So I'm just gonna use this as my address. All right. There you go. All right, there's the address. It's permanently printed on there. It's not written in there by hand. Okay. Now over here. This is the date, like you were saying. Date has to be correct. You don't want to get something that's dated for the future. What I mean by that is like you need to look at the year. Year needs to be correct. It shouldn't be 2019. 2019 is 3 years from now. You can't even cash a check for 3 years. Don't accept it because you'll probably lose it by that point. So you got to have a current date. Date today. What, the 29th? I don't even think I have it correctly on the board. No. So 29, and it's the 2016 year. Yeah, that's up there, and they usually have a spot printed in there correctly. It's not written like this. It's usually like day of, and then they have like year, blah blah blah. And they have blanks, so you have to fill that in. That has to be filled in. It's not printed for you. Okay. Up here will be an individual check number. check numbers go in order in your checkbook. So if you're paying attention to your checks, which you should always do, pay attention to what check number you're at. So they should always count up. Typically, when you first order your checks, you can start that number in the corner, any number you wish. The bank will actually ask you, okay, what do you want your first check to be written as? They usually, and I know that seems weird to you, they don't want you to start with a check of number one. They want you to start with I just made a random number. I think I went 1776. That was the first number I thought of, so I just put that number in there. Oh, they went, okay, we'll print checks with 1776 as your first check number. And so my next check will be 1777, 1778. So this whole thing, I don't know why they don't want you to start with a single digit. It's usually a 4-digit number, 5 digits, and they just have you make it up. And you should always pay attention to what your check number is in case you lose a check, so you know what happened to it. You should always be writing this down in your checkbook to make sure you have a notebook writing down what you write checks for, so you're keeping track of how much money you have. Okay. Next space. This space is who you're writing the check to. Who you're writing the check to. So let's say I'm writing the check to the school here for lunch money. Okay? So GHV schools. That's what I always write. I don't know if Nan or Paul or Pat actually like that, but that's why I write it. And then off to the side, everyone knows this. I have a box here. What do you think you put there?
And how much
The
you
amount.
put
The
in.
amount, and it's in digits. You gotta write the amount. You should always use a $sign. You should always use a decimal symbol. So let's say I wrote a check for $25 for lunch today. I always like to put a little bit of money in at a time. Okay, $25 check. Use a decimal. Use a decimal. Use the cents as a really small number. Sometimes people do this where it's certain pennies, like $20 even out of 100 pennies. They do that. The reason why, you want to use as much space as you can in that box. Never leave a gap. Because if somebody steals your check and they somehow get very creative and they change this somehow, they're very creative and they change this to their name. Now they somehow change it and now they put a 1 there. Now you just wrote them a $125 check when you thought it was a $25 check to the school. So you never want to leave any space. You want to try to use as much space in there as possible. Okay? Let's go to lunch. We'll come back. We'll continue.
Is it raining outside?
It might be. It looked like earlier there was some storm clouds moving in. So I don't know if it's supposed to be just a quick one or.
For what? JV football game tonight? When does that start at?
6.
6. Good luck to you guys with Bishop Garden.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty decent usually. So that'd be good. That's a good one then.
We never played before, so.
Alright. Okay. Alright, so let's continue on. I want to finish up this checkbook idea so you can see kind of how we write a number in there. And then I want to talk about rounding numbers then. That's the idea. Now again, the things I'm showing you about checkbook, those are the little things I've learned over years, things that if you have a decent banker when you're first setting up your bank account, they'll talk you through things that you should know. And also your employer, if you're employed by somebody, you're taking checks from people, things you should know. And they should talk you through those types of things and situations of what you need to do and who you need to talk to when there's a certain situation that arises. Okay, so far we talked about, the address should be permanent, should be local, it should match their driver's license. Who it's being written out to. Banks typically will not accept a check that's been written like that. Where you crossed out something and you're putting somebody else's name in there. They typically will not accept that. You need to warn your bank ahead of time that you did something like that. You need to call ahead, but usually they tell you to rewrite the check. So you'd have to tear this one up, write a new check out. Okay? Alright, so that's the idea. So we're gonna go back to the original. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the GHV. So we wrote out a new check, GHV schools. Alright, $25. Now the next line, right here.
It's where you write out your amount.
Yep, exactly. It's the actual amount that you're writing the check for in word form. The big thing is, a lot of people are kind of blown away by this. Banks should not be looking at this number. It's just